Boy, listen to that little Gilson tractor run. That 16 horse Briggs on this particular tractor is awesome. Great compression, and it just runs smooth. Smooth. But let's get down to the brass tacks. What's the meat and taters of this video? A snowblower. Yeah. Became painfully obvious after our last trip up to the ranch that I would need to beef up my snow removing equipment. And pushing the snow around with a plow worked to a point. And in years past, we have a great neighbor just to the south of us that is willing to run his tractor or his blade across our road, and he's got a plow in the front of an old Ram Charger, and he keeps the main road clear, and then he has no problem with coming up our road. But I like being more self-sufficient, and darn it, I have fun out there pushing snow around. But the blade became, oh, there's my baby right there. The blade just got overwhelmed, and I knew that the next step would be to get a snow blower, a snow thrower. So me, loving the thrill of the hunt, got on Craigslist and looked for the last couple weeks, and came up with this one. And one of the things about living in a region that doesn't get snow is nobody sells snow removal equipment where I live. So I had to drive about 200 miles to get this in each direction. 200 miles in each direction to pick this thing up, but it was totally worth it. I'd have driven another 100 miles in each direction to get this because it's brand new, 2-stage, 45-inch snowblower. And I wasn't interested in a walk-behind because, well, I didn't want to walk. And typically, walk-behinds are narrower, and I wanted to be able to get a bunch of snow out of the way in a single pass kind of deal. And a 45-inch will do fine. I'll be able to clear that road all the way out, that half mile, hopefully without any issues. So I drive up to check this thing out, and he's already got it listed for what I think is a very, very fair price. It turns out this guy's an old retired tractor dealer, and about 5 or 6 years ago, business was slow, and he shut his shop down. He figured he wanted to retire and enjoy life a little bit. Didn't really need the money to have a fire sale and blow everything out, pennies on the dollar. So he just scooped up all his inventory and threw it at his cattle ranch in one of his barns. And as he said himself, whenever he needs a little bit of mad money, look at me dancing myself till I hit my head on the 4x4 above me. Clink, right there. And so whenever he needs a little bit of mad money, he just sells off some equipment. Well, this was a 2004 model Cub Cadet 2-stage snow thrower that was attached to the front of a 20-horse Cub Cadet tractor. I don't remember the model. And he wanted some cash. The people came and took a look at the tractor. They didn't want the snowblower because, well, he doesn't live in a snow region really either. They didn't want the snowblower, but they wanted the tractor, so then he figured it was time to get rid of the blower because he would never use it in his area. So I drove up there. I took a look at it. We talked for close to an hour before we even got to what I came up there for, which was the tractor. And in true Corvair wild fashion, the guy's like, man, you seem like a pretty swell guy when we were negotiating the deal, and he gave me a really fair price, literally a tenth of what I would pay if I were to buy this brand new today. And you can check up the what they go for on the interwebs if you want to know. And I said, man, why so cheap? And he says, well, you seem like a swell guy that you're not just buying it to profit, you're actually buying to use it. And in true Corvair wild fashion, I said, well, I'm your beekeeper on the YouTube TV, and if you want to watch the trials and tribulations of your snowblower down the road, check me out. There's going to be some videos on it. And he got a big kick out of that. So we threw it in the back of the truck, little pick-em-up truck, and I drove home. And here I play with it. So stay tuned for some videos. It should be fun. So it's a Cub Cadet model 353, 45-inch, 2-stage snow thrower. I believe it's a 2004 model. The last two digits, 04. I'm just guessing. I'm pulling that number out of my hat. I don't know. The guy I got it from says he has had it sitting around about 10 years or so, so that would make it about right. This thing has never touched snow. Let's back up and take a close look at it. See if I can do this without casting any funky shadows. So it yeah, look at that. If it's that old, sitting in a barn, came with a free mouthful of honey and bitter bees. Hell yeah. It's got some shear pins. It's got the secondary blowing system back here. Got a little bit of plastic on it. I don't know if I care for plastic, but I guess that's some less stuff to rust. I'm about to clean up some of these bolts, are a little funky. I can't see
I can't see nothing because the sun. Hi, everybody. There you are. Hi. Bark, bark. Yeah. So some of the nuts and bolts are a little rusty, but other than that, holy crap. That was freaking acorns fall out of the eucalyptus trees, hit this aluminum roof. Just made me pee myself a little bit. So yeah, look, it's never even had these little, I guess these are some sort of indicating arms. I really have to do some research on this. I'm not sure anything on this. It was just such a good deal, I couldn't turn it down. So I'm guessing I loosened these bolts and flipped this rod out so it sticks that way. I don't know, so I could see where the corners of the plow are, even though I can't just look out over my steering wheel. But that's probably about where it's going to set. It'll PTO off the front of the angina. It's got its own little shaftaroo. Back here, it's got its own drive shaft. Slip joint. This is a little crusty. It's a little crusty there. It'll slide in and out. See again? It'll slide in and out, a little bit of lubrication. Here's your tractor porn, Chief. Yeah, gearbox is all brand new. Demonstrator, unfreaking real. Spline shaft. I'll bet you dollars per donuts I've got a shaft like that sitting in my scrap metal pile. Yeah, and then somehow this is the original PTO. I'm gonna do a video on this, how this whole thing configures, because when I got my first tractor like this, it didn't have the original PTO or anything. So I had to kind of fabricate one out of the power of my imagination, and it seems to work pretty well. But we're gonna do another video on this, pull it out, so anybody in the future that comes across one of these tractors, they know what to look for, or they know how to build one on their own. I really hope you can see this. The light is really dicking around with this. My Frankenstein muffler. So yeah, so it'll probably sit about this far forward, I'm assuming, from the tractor, because then I can make that hook up to that front pulley. I have to do some light adjustment on it. There we go, maybe we'll do that. So it's probably going to sit about that far. That's going to hit that front pulley. And then this is kind of cool. The arm supports itself if I need to adjust that in any way. But for the most part, excuse me. For the most part, if I'm sitting on this girl, I got everything right here. Easy to get to. Yahoo, yahoo, yahoo. I am so excited, guys. I just was giddy like a little freaking kid. When I found this thing, I was giddy, and then when I went to see the thing, there's a little shot of fluid film in there. The dude that had it thought I must have been on glue or something, because I was beside myself with how cool it was. And it was such a good deal, I didn't haggle him down a penny. I probably already described that by now. This is going to make life next year so much easier. Hi, Newman. You good boy. He's just out and about, checking things out. He's a good dog. He is a good dog. Come here. Get a punch in the head. You good baby. Yeah. He was a good dog. So yeah, she fired it pretty good. Still has kind of a mixture of the good gas and funky gas that she came with. But gotta make a handle for this. Oh yeah. I got some plans. I got just to find some time, which I will. I will. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems to be built all right. I know in 2004 Cub Cadet was probably just a glorified painted yellow version of MTD. Let me get out of the shot here. And that MTD is kind of cheap crap. I mean, I've got an MTD lawn tractor, but for the price, if this thing only lasts 2 years, I'm still well above the water level, so to speak. But it'll last more than that. I have a feeling I have the magic touch at making things go the distance, and this is awesome. Awesome. So you go, stay tuned for some fun videos of me adapting a Cub Cadet 45-inch 2-stage snowblower to a 1973 Montgomery Ward's Gilson. 16 horse, which that old Briggs & Stratton should have enough oomph to kick this over. I was a little concerned at first because this is supposed to go on a 20 horse tractor, the Cub Cadet. But in reality, a modern day 20 horse versus a 30-year-old 16 horse, that 16 horse probably out torques and out powers the newer 20. So I don't know, we'll find out. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.